This is Fearlessly Fertile. Welcome to the Fearlessly Fertile podcast, episode 363. Is your fertility identity fucked up? Loves, I'm so excited to be here with you again this week. I'm just always excited to be here. This is good work. I love what I do. I love helping women have babies. I love helping women prove all of those statistics wrong, all of their diagnosis as relatively irrelevant, and moving on to make their dreams come true. Can you blame me? This week, we are going to be diving headfirst into the subject of fertility identity. What in the name of all that is holy is fertility identity? Is this another snowflake thing that I need to be worried about? Is somebody going to ask me if I identify as a freaking cat? No, mama, not at all. This lands squarely in the realm of fertility mindset strategy. Part of having an excellent fertility mindset strategy that is ultimately going to support your success on this journey, regardless of how you're trying to conceive, whether you're doing it naturally with assisted reproductive technology, using donor egg, none of it matters. But you have to be a woman that in her heart, in her mind, in her body, in her soul, identifies as fertile, because otherwise there is a disconnect. But we're going to be getting into that. When I say identity, what I'm really talking about is two very distinct things that operate together. It's how you see yourself on an internal basis, your values, your thoughts, your belief system, even your memories, its experiences, culture, all of the things that come together to create your internal ecosystem of how you see yourself. It's also the way that we interact with the external world. That's how our sense of self and our identity is projected outward. How do other people see us? What's our relationship to the outside world through the lens of our own eyes, and how we interpret the outside world? That's, in short form, plain English, what identity is. It speaks to the internal and external experience we have of the world and ourselves. Most people have an identity that is rooted in gender, education, academics, countless other measures that we have in our different cultures and societies, and in the groups that we run with. If you're an achiever, a lot of your identity is going to be tied to your successes. For better or worse, we have our self-identity connected with our education, what we do in the world, how often we fucked up, like all of our experiences in our lives. It's human nature to size ourselves up in that way. When we find ourselves on the fertility journey, so much of the identity that we have built up to that point gets called into question. It is very unsettling. It's one of the reasons why this journey can be so intensely stressful and challenging, because so much of what we had come to know about ourselves, what we were meant to expect, where we should be in our lives, whether or not we are a loser, we are late to the party, or we're a freaking dreamer, so much of that gets called into question when we start to have an experience that is inconsistent with the identity of an achiever, a success story, or any other internal construct or external construct, frankly, that we have about ourselves, we feel uncertain. It's also why high-performing women will fall into the behavior of just working harder, just being more perfect, just squeezing out another round of IVF when they are already exhausted and depleted. The idea of having a lack of success, it at times feels like survival. It feels existential, because it's like, who am I if I'm not succeeding? The question becomes, do you have a fucked up identity when it comes to your fertility? It's something that you need to stop and ask yourself. Said a different way, what is the current state of my fertility identity? Do you even use the word fertile to refer to yourself without a modifier? People will say infertile. I hate that word because I know that we are all on the frickin' spectrum. When you have watched women from ages 28 to 50 frickin' 4 become moms, the way that you see fertility is more on a spectrum than it being super black and white, or you're not fertile, you are. So many of the women that I've worked with were told they were infertile and go on to have babies like freaking left and right, beating less than 1% chances. Let's be honest, as you're listening to this, what is the current state of your fertility identity? The way you see yourself when it comes to your fertility isn't just about the feels and feeling good and manifesting your baby and all of that stuff. There is a very practical reason why you've got to get your fertility identity sorted. Your thoughts are being translated into your body. If you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, it should be no surprise to you that our minds are very powerful. Your consistent thoughts and beliefs are reinforcing to your subconscious mind either an identity that is fertile or one that is not, one that can be healed or one that is too far gone. If at your core you do not see yourself as somebody who is fertile, your body is going to react quite differently. Anytime that you have done exercise and you're like, I know I can do this, I know I can go another mile, there is a core belief that not only can you make it that extra mile, but in fact you will. That is a subconscious program that is telling your body to keep the energy up. We know we can do this. It is providing that fuel within you to keep going. But somebody very wise said to me years ago, your mind will give out way before your body ever will. What you have going on in your head as far as your identity is concerned is translating into biological effects in your body. We know of countless stories where people actually impacted their outcomes because of the way they saw themselves. They see themselves as a winner. It's very different than somebody who sees themselves as a victim or someone who sees themselves as too far gone. Your brain actively maintains your identity. This happens through dynamic neural networks. This means that identity isn't just abstract, it's neurobiological. That means that if there's something going on here, it's being translated in your body. This is why the way that you perceive yourself is so incredibly important. The good news is that no matter what your fertility identity is today, it is not static. It can be changed. If you see yourself as somebody with fucked up fertility, you're going to look at any given situation quite differently than somebody who says, you know what, I'm on the spectrum of fertility. My fertility is not optimized yet, but I know that I'm going to have a baby. One is like somebody's pretty much already given up. The other thought process is of a woman who is on the path to success. She's making efforts to improve. That is a woman who at her core is going to see herself in a very different way than a woman who sees herself as fucked up. Research in psychology and mental health shows that the way we see ourselves, our identity, is deeply linked to stress responses and emotional regulation. Someone with a strong, coherent identity is going to respond very differently than somebody who sees themselves as weak, a victim, and not capable. The person with a stronger identity, that stronger sense of self within the context of the fertility journey, is going to be able to manage the stress of this journey much better. Across the board, people are more likely to engage in behaviors that align with their self-image. While direct causal research on identity and specific bodily systems is emerging, there are recognized physiological pathways connecting identity and bodily function. For example, the way that we see ourselves, the way that we interpret events on our fertility journey, circumstances on our fertility journey, can have a cumulative strain on our bodily systems. Last month, we were talking all about the physiological impact of having strong community. Well, we see that also when it comes to identity. We know through the study of psychoneuroimmunology that our thoughts can create a chain of chemical reactions in our body. We can literally change our biochemistry with the way that we think. If you are in a sustained place of fear thought, you can feel it. You can feel the pit in your stomach. You can feel your heart racing. That is the kind of biological response I'm talking about. None of this is new, but sometimes it feels like women on this journey don't put two and two together. And that's what we're doing here. We're educating you to start thinking about all of these different mechanisms in a completely different way. Mindset is fertility strategy. When you have a strong one, you don't get stuck in a fear loop that is literally suppressing so many different critical systems within your body that are going to help you freaking get and stay pregnant. We want your body to be reacting in a way that is friendly to pregnancy, not pushing it away. What we think about ourselves gets written and rewritten into our subconscious mind, and our subconscious thoughts are controlling our beliefs and our actions. You want to identify as a woman who succeeds on this journey in order to, in fact, be a woman who succeeds on this journey. If you have any doubt about this, remember the placebo effect is one of the most studied examples of how expectations and beliefs impact physiological outcomes. It affects neurotransmitter activity, pain perception, hormonal signaling, mood states, immune and stress responses. Because of a patient's beliefs and expectations about their treatment, your identity and the way you see yourself within the context of your fertility journey can have an impact on your outcome. Do yourself a massive favor this week, mama. Take some time. What is your fertility identity? Is it fucked up? Or is it going to put you on the road to fertility success? One of the smartest things you will ever do on your fertility journey is learn to think, believe, and take action like a woman who succeeds. This can be your fertility identity. Go to www.frommaybe2baby.com and apply for an interview there. My methodology has helped women around the world make their mom dreams come true, and their results speak for themselves. We got the receipts, baby. Do not let your janky fertility identity cost you your baby. Go to www.frommaybe2baby.com. Till next time, change your mindset, change your results.
Love this episode of the Fearlessly Fertile podcast? Subscribe now and leave an awesome review. Remember, the desire in your heart to be a mom is there because it was meant for you. When it comes to your dreams, keep saying hell yes.